Let's grow some food. I'm Dr. Fox, and this is a continuation of Lesson 1. This time we're talking about Brassicaceae, or the brassicas. I'm going to kind of go in alphabetical order, starting with Asian greens. There are a lot of different types of Asian greens. Some of them are on the very bitter side, and some of them are more mild in flavor. These are quick growing. They're easy to do in hydroponics. Brassicas in general are pest prone when you put them in the ground. So you're going to have to kind of work out how you feel about that. But these are really nice in stir fries and salads. Next up is broccoli. There are two main types of broccoli, heading broccoli, and they refer to as sprouting broccoli. I haven't had much luck with sprouting broccoli, but heading broccoli is really fun to grow. As you can see, you can grow it in containers as well as in the ground. It does take a while to grow broccoli. So I tend to buy the starts rather than growing from seed. And I have yet to successfully grow it in hydroponics. Next up is Brussels sprouts. I don't recommend trying to grow Brussels sprouts. They're kind of a pain. You have to trim back the leaves and figure out how to get them to stand up straight. And they have a tendency to get a lot of pests in them. I have a similar sentiment about cabbage. Again, they're a long season. It takes a long time to grow cabbage. And cabbage is really cheap to buy, so I typically don't go there. And when I do, it's usually because I see a pack of them on discount because nobody's bought them and I feel sorry for them. Then there are also the Chinese cabbages, which are faster to grow. Cauliflower is pretty similar to broccoli, but you will have to get used to the fact that growing your own food doesn't look like what you find in the store because they throw so much of it away that isn't picture perfect. I am a big fan of collards, but there aren't many varieties of them. But the thing about collards is that you can start picking them when they're relatively young, and then as the season wears on, they get much larger. So you can pick from them for almost a year. The same is true of kale. Again, you can pick it when it's relatively young, and it'll continue to grow. Now, these are actually biennials, so they'll overwinter, and then when it gets warm the next spring is when they go to seed and start blossoming up. But they don't blossom up in tight heads like broccoli or cauliflower. And kale is much easier to grow hydroponically than the others are. This is primarily because of the root structure. Kale, collards, broccoli, cauliflower all have tremendous deep roots. Kohlrabi is one member of the Brassica family that not a lot of people are familiar with. I really enjoy the taste of them, but I don't like to grow them because you actually have to kill the plant in order to harvest. Obviously, the same is true of radishes, but it doesn't bother me as much because there isn't as much time invested. You wouldn't think these are brassicas, but they are. They're very quick growing, and as I've mentioned before, the leaves are actually quite tasty. Lately, I've been experimenting with different varieties hydroponically. Turnips are in the mustard side of the family. Closely related are rutabagas and parsnips. They grow pretty quickly. When you buy turnips in the store to eat, they have hardly any taste, but when you grow them at home, they have a very rich taste. They're on the spicy and bitter side, so I like to roast them with olive oil and rosemary. The leaves are also edible, but much like mustard, they're very bitter, too bitter for me, so I tend to feed them to the chickens. I have had some success growing them hydroponically as well. That's it for brassicas. Make sure to check out the other family videos.